Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick, and I'm here with the Sheriff of Calhoun County, Matthew Wade, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Sheriff?
Always good to be on the show, John, I tell you what.
Always good to have you. Let's take a quick look at our count this week.
Hey, 2 arrests this week brings our count to 5,182 people arrested, all because somebody was willing to help us. Thank you for being a part of our community and helping make it a safer place.
And you guys had a busy week, and you're still able to do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course, everybody knows about the train derailment that we had, and thank God nobody was hurt. There was no hazmat problems, no chemical spills. Only property damage that was done was to the railroad, so we're very thankful for that. And we were Googling, how many train derailments there are a year, and there's about 1,500 a year, so there's 4 or 5 a day every day.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily as uncommon as people would lead you to believe. It's just been publicized a lot here lately, so for the bad one that happened up in Ohio.
But you had a meeting this morning, kind of closed out that detail. How did that meeting go?
We had a meeting with a train company this morning, a railroad company that's a little off track.
Yeah.
But we helped them get back on it, and but a little joke there, but good company.
Well, we're going to be back on track here. We're going to have the first half of the lineup and then a really interesting guest here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. The first half of the lineup brought to you this week by Abe's Ace Bail Bonds. Abe's Ace Bail Bonding, 256-831-0074. First up in the first half of our lineup, Charlie Shugars. Mr. Shugars, last known to be living in Oxford. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana first. And take a look at Angela Graves. Miss Graves, last known to be living in Coleman. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a controlled substance and use and possession of drug paraphernalia and theft of property fourth. And this is Tony Sturkey. Mr. Sturkey, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on a probation violation for possession of a controlled substance. And meet Daniel Grantham. Mr. Grantham, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for failure to appear on receiving stolen property second. This is Eric Cowden. Mr. Cowden, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted on a probation violation for obstruction of justice by using a false ID. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in the first half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, call Sheriff Matthew Wade. You call, he hauls. We are here with Shannon Jenkins, President and CEO of the United Way. How are you, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you, John?
It's good to have you on the show. We haven't had you for a little while.
It's good to be here.
But, tell us what the United Way does in general before we talk in specific.
Well, United Way does a lot. Our mission is to improve lives by mobilizing the carrying power of our communities to create lasting change. There's a lot that goes into that. We are a funder of a lot of local community partners, but we also have our own direct service programs out of our office as well. So it's a big umbrella, but makes a big impact.
That sounds like the mission statement for the Sheriff's Office.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's close.
We're not funders.
No, you don't.
We need
get
funding.
Funded. Get funding. Do you fund
We need funding.
The United Way should fund law enforcement endeavors. It's a shared mission to impact the community in a positive way.
Well, we help United Way impact people in a positive way.
There you go.
So we're a piece of the puzzle, but not a big piece, but they do wonderful things all across our community.
They do. They have a huge footprint, right? Just give us an idea about how many separate programs you have just within this county.
We cover Calhoun, Cleburne, and Randolph County. We're actually United Way of East Central Alabama, and we have 22 local community partners. Most folks will recognize many of those: Interfaith Ministries, the YMCA, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Boys and Girls Clubs, doing some great work. But our direct service programs, include the Imagination Library, free books, Helping Families Initiative, which is a holistic approach to chronic absenteeism and solving that problem within our schools, and several other things. A Workforce Connections program for under-resourced youth. To develop career and skills and connections to the workplace, so once they graduate from high school. And then, of course, we're working a lot to solve our homelessness issue here in Calhoun County, and that's really kind of our latest endeavor.
So homelessness is a big problem in the county, isn't it, Sheriff?
It is, and I think Matthew's opinion is a lot of it is more than just not being without a home. There's other things going on with these people. A lot of it's mental illness that goes along with being unable to work, function in society, to be able to do those kind of things that you need to be able to own a home, pay bills, hold a job. So I think those two go hand in hand. Matthew's opinion on that, in the state of Alabama has almost the legislature many years, I'm going to say many years ago, 10 years ago or so, has basically cut funding to mental health institutions in our state, and now we see those effects by having more mentally ill people on the street, homeless, other problems. They're in jails doing different things. I know that's not necessarily the topic, but these homeless people end up in jails. A lot of them have mental illness, and things happen because we're not getting to the root cause.
Right.
And so that's until we get to the root cause, we're not going to be able to solve that problem.
Well, nationwide, the statistics are skewed. You've got Los Angeles County has like 60,000 homeless people, and the research shows that a third of them are mentally ill. So 2/3 would be homeless by circumstance. But when you get into our counties in Alabama, I've just found personal experience that 2/3 of the homeless that I've had to deal with in my career have been mentally ill. And so that speaks to what you were just saying, Sheriff, that we're underfunded in that. But the United Way is working on that. So tell us what you're doing.
Well, we are, and I agree with both of you. Homelessness is a very, very complex issue, and it's not just about someone getting a job and getting off the streets. Many times there are lots of barriers there and a lot of complex issues. So what we've been able to do is really kind of go on a journey with the City of Anniston. The City of Anniston established the Community Task Force on Homelessness and chose United Way to lead that task force. And so we have a funding partnership now with the city. They have dedicated $1.2 million to helping us build a facility at 1411 Gurney Avenue. It's called Martha's Hope. It's the Martha Vandervoort Center to End Homelessness. That's named after the late director of Interfaith Ministries. If you knew Martha Vandervoort, then you knew that she had a passion and she had a hope for our homeless. And that's where that comes from, Martha's Hope. It'll be 2 floors. One floor will actually be street entrance level, will be an emergency housing facility. And then the second floor, which will have its own entrance at the back, will be a transitional living center. And the transitional living center is actually named after kind of a living legend in our social service world, Miss Maudine Holloway at Community Enabler. It'll be called the Holloway House.
Oh, nice.
She spent many years at that property at 1411 Gurney Avenue. Community Enabler was actually there for a while that she is the director of, and it moved. And so that is the property that will be transformed into this facility.
And that's a major transformation, isn't it?
It's a major transformation. There is a building currently standing there, but due to the remediation and some structural and foundation issues, we're going to have to bring that building down. And so this will be a new construction project. But it's really exciting because it is a comprehensive, facility, meaning that when our homeless come in the door, our goal is to end homelessness for those individuals. And so that will include lots of wraparound services, case management, empowerment coaches that are stepping them through the process. We also know that there is a lack of affordable housing, so that transitional living center will help give them a safe place to be while they're receiving, case management and the wraparound services to get them stable and independent.
Law enforcement comes in contact with these people a lot. A lot of times the only option we have is jail. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we can't help them. There's not a place to send them to or take. This is so needed for not just the city of Anniston, but for everywhere. And law enforcement's looking forward to this as well.
Well, we're going to take a break here, and then we're going to come back and we'll talk more about this endeavor, because it sounds like a very big project and very beneficial to our community. So you stay with us. We'll be back with the second half of the lineup, and we'll continue with Shannon Jenkins here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to the second half of our lineup. This half brought to you by A1 Freedom Bail Bonding. A1 Freedom Bail Bonding, 256-236-7888. First up this half, Angela Brady. Miss Brady, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted on a probation violation for burglary, third. And meet Clifford Thomas. Mr. Thomas, last known to be living in Gainesville, Georgia. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of a forged instrument, first ×2, and obstruction of justice by using a false ID. And this is Bradley Fincher. Mr. Fincher, last known to be living in Mumford. He's wanted for a probation violation on possession of a controlled substance ×2. And take a look at Christine Banks. Ms. Banks, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for failure to appear on an obstruction of justice by using a false ID. This is Deanna Teleferro. Ms. Teleferro, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for chemical endangerment of a child and probation violation for distribution of a controlled substance. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you have any information on these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-833-251-7867. And welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in the second half of the lineup. If you know where they are, call Sheriff Matthew Wade. You call He Hauls. We're talking with Shannon Jenkins, president of the United Way here in Calhoun County and surrounding counties, about homelessness and this huge project that you're working on in partnership with several other folks. So you're building a homeless shelter that's going to have wraparound services and transitional spaces for people. So what kind of services? Well, let's back up. We've had shelters in this town before. Mm-hmm. And those shelters operated basically as come in, if you can afford $5, give it to us, but you got to be out by 7 a.m. and then you can't come back before 7 p.m. Yours is going to operate differently, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. No charge to stay. It is a place for healing. It is a place to get to the point where there's stability and independence, and you can't put a price tag on that, or that's another barrier for those who are coming in and needing those services. So no, and yes, connections to mental health care, connections to substance misuse services, and then of course just things that may seem like common sense to us, but just budgeting, living skills, life skills, what it's like to take care of an apartment and clean it. There's just so much that goes into that in getting someone from, especially those who are chronically homeless and have been, on the streets for a while, to get to do that transition into permanent housing is a task, and it takes some time.
And those services will be offered right there in that facility, right?
Yes, so yes, and everyone that comes in will be assigned a case manager. Will be a social worker that will, do kind of a triage and assessment to find out, where they are, what skills do they already possess, what do they not have, and where they are, and really make a plan from there to step through the process.
Of course, that's voluntary for people who are living on the street, can come in there. But when you get people in need in one spot, like in the jail, it's a great way to kind of identify what some of these problems are. Well, Sheriff, you have homeless people in the jail, right? I mean, they come to jail and they have no place to go when they get released. But you have no choice. If they're bonding out or if they've done their bit, you got to let them go, right?
That's right.
Will the sheriff's office be able to refer people, and the other surrounding communities refer people from jail that they've identified as homeless?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we hope. We hope that this will provide an avenue to cut down on those incarcerations, especially minor violations. And hey, we've had conversations already, the sheriff and I have, and I know his heart, and I know that they don't want to arrest everybody, but sometimes there's just no other choice. Also, our local hospital, our homeless folks are going to the hospital for respite, just to have a place.
When it's cold, that's where they go. They go there and they sign in, and that is jamming up the emergency room, because these people come there and they say they have a complaint. These people, and they really don't, but they'll sit in the emergency room for the night. So they've turned the emergency room, waiting room into
shelter.
A shelter. So.
Right, right. You know, but obviously, I mean, none of this could happen without other partners. I mean, it's not just United Way. Of course, the City of Anniston and Anniston First United Methodist Church both have been great partners in this. But you know, Interfaith Ministries, those other partners that are already serving the homeless, you know, will certainly help with wraparound services, and St. Michael's, you know, medical clinic, some great resources in our community that are already established and doing great work.
So will some of those, like St. Michael's and the Soup Bowl, be able to come to your facility to provide those services, or is there going to be a way to?
Yeah, and we're still, of course, we're in the building phase, so
Right.
we're still working through a lot of that logistically, but absolutely, whether they come to our building or we are making sure that those who are coming in our building and receiving services are making those connections. That's what those case managers are really going to be there for, is to kind of hold their hands, so to speak, and walk through these steps with them. It will be long-term case management.
Yeah. What an opportunity to help the homeless people and to help develop our social services. Are you working in partnership with JSU and their folks?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody that, you know, social workers, and I'm sure we'll use interns from JSU.
Yeah,
and
that's a good thing.
yeah.
So what's the timeline on this?
So the timeline is we would love to start demolishing the current building that's there in April. So as soon as that building comes down, our plan is to have a groundbreaking and start construction as soon as we can get the contractors there to start that. So we want to move quickly. You know, we're administering the warming station now, which is at the bridge at Anniston First United Methodist. United Way is running that in partnership with some others. We would love not to have that warming station next cold weather season.
Nice.
Now, I understand, you know, that's a big dream to have a building up by then, so we'll see. But that's kind of where we are. We would love for this to take the place of that.
Well, that's great. So sometime in the next year, we might have capacity for what you were saying, about 80, 90 people?
Yeah, total capacity is about 84. Both floors, the transitional living floor and the emergency housing floor, has family suites where families can stay but be, you know, kept, especially children, segregated and kept safe from everyone else. But yeah, altogether about 84 individuals.
Excellent. Well, it's a good start. I think we probably have close to 400 homeless around, but we appreciate this. It's exciting. We'll watch it develop. Thank you for being with us this week to tell us all about it. And we're going to be right back with the Crime Stoppers portion of the show and a crazy criminal here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help on the following cases. First up, between March 11th and March 12th, a home was burglarized on Old Piedmont-Gadsden Highway. Nothing appeared to have been taken, but if you have seen any suspicious activity in the area, please reach out to the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. And on February 21st, a home was burglarized on New Liberty Road. Nothing appeared to be taken there as well, but if you've seen any suspicious activity in that area, also reach out to the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. And on February 21st, an apartment was burglarized on Church Street in Anniston. Again, nothing seemed to have been taken, but if you've seen any suspicious activity in that area, also reach out to the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. And that's it for the Crime Stoppers portion of our show. Please, if you have any information on these cases, call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Crazy.
You know, it's tough times.
It is tough times.
It's tough times. You know, in Alabama, we don't have a lottery.
No.
We don't have scratch-offs, but Mississippi does. And a guy named Otis Latham and Russell Sparks played in that lottery and bought that $100,000 jackpot ticket right there, and it was a loser.
Oh, too bad.
But they got the right numbers and glued them onto the card and submitted it to the Mississippi Gaming Commission to try to collect on that $100,000. And, you know, there's multiple ways for them to check it, apparently. And they didn't fall for that, and now they've been charged with uttering a counterfeit instrument over $1,000 and conspiracy, and was arrested in Flowood, Mississippi for that. So instead of receiving $100,000, they're going to be paying some money out to pay for their misdeeds and trying to scam the state of Mississippi.
Wow. So their plan got a little derailed.
Got a little derailed, but the state of Mississippi put them back on track, and they didn't get the jackpot.
Oh my goodness. Well, that just, if you're going to gamble, gamble honestly and win honestly, right?
Yeah.
Now, you guys still looking for employees? We like to push
Always
that.
looking for employees. Got some openings in all of our areas, and we're looking for brave men and women that want to go make a difference in their community. We're looking for difference makers.
Difference makers.
Difference makers.
And what are the three kind of career paths you got open?
We got
right now?
corrections officers, we got dispatchers, and we got deputy sheriffs, and we're always looking for those good, wonderful young people. Not necessarily young, but a lot of our people are young.
Yeah, and it's a great place to start. Great learning. You learn a lot of skills, right? Working in the jail. You
That's
worked
right.
in the jail.
Yeah, I started in the jail, and you see where that got me.
I think it kept you right on track
That's
for
right.
a wonderful career in law enforcement.
That's right.
Well, oh my gosh. Parting shot. Tell folks what they need to be careful of this week.
Careful of.
Careful of.
Oh,
Train tracks and derailments.
hey, always look at a train crossing before you go across it, but hopefully we won't have any more of these in Calhoun County for a while.
I hope not. Yeah, you know, railroad crossings can be dangerous. You got to pay attention to those when the thing comes down, the gate comes down. Don't go around it.
In all seriousness, train company has gotten a lot of bad rap here lately, but they are good people and they've treated the citizens of Calhoun County well. In the meeting today, I was very impressed with how they want to make everything right and do the right thing. So,
Well, there you go. And we want you guys to do the right thing by tuning in to us next Tuesday and taking a look at our lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.